for you.
I can see the Camille. So we got a Camille ban coming out. Me personally, cannot stand Camille. Those robo legs and that, it's like a leg uppercut is what I equate it to. She does like a flip, leg uppercut, does true damage. Can't stand her, very dominant top lane. We got the Echo coming out and just a high damage monster if he can get fed.
I have some interesting info on the Echo ban when you're done with your explanation.
We got the Fiora pick coming out, a split pushing monster, a duelist, as is for champion. Vladimir, endless sustain, a late game powerhouse. Man, too angry to die, basically Vladimir, who's not Tryndamere. And then Aurelia. Of course, if you guys play League, you know Aurelia's the bane of all League players. And then, of course, Gangplank in the mid.
He's bringing out the Poppy.
And so, barrels. So let's hear.
Yeah, so interesting perspective here when I was talking to the League team. Tejas is an Echo main. Our jungler's a big Echo player. Vincent is a huge Vladimir player, a lot of mastery points on him. So I'm really happy to see the Poppy come out from Connor. I got to play a couple games of that, and it was a very, very fun experience. So we got a good game in store here against Colorado Mesa. USM starting on blue side. So John, starting on blue, we've got some experience here. I'm a jungler. You normally play bot lane. Try and tell the people that might not be familiar with League, what's going to happen as soon as we get in game with the jungle camps?
Well, if we're going to run it standard, we're going to do the, I think they call it 5-point, where each one watches. Hey. And yes, shout out next, Barrel! Calling the barrels in the chat. I hate Gangplank. But they will probably be doing the 5-point along the map. Blue side's actually one of my favorite sides for invades into the jungle. We have ours that I play with my friends. We call it the Marshall technique. I'm not sure if he's the one who actually created it. If he is, shout out. But yeah, we run in from the river, from mid lane, into river, bush, into wall, into enemy team, and we either get a kill or we don't. And then we either 9x the jungler or 9x whoever needs to be 9x'd. But yes, we've got a Poppy, Belveth, and a Azir for the side of USM. Azir, a really cool champion. He does a lot of damage. It's a surprising amount of damage. His ultimate is extremely strong, a really good initiator for team fights. And of course, his passive, he creates a turret. So when things are lost, if you lose an inhibitor turret, or if you gain a turret, you take down an enemy turret, you just set up a turret in the spot. It's really convenient, although not as necessarily as powerful as a normal turret. It still poses a threat for normal players.
The threat is a lot.
And it actually kind of increases it. Well, it does increase map pressure by a large margin. You got to take out the turret before you can go. We got Kai'Sa and Nautilus coming out, and Nautilus, one of my favorite supports. Kai'Sa extremely powerful after these recent couple patches. Probably second only to Misfortune, who I've never seen so many Misfortunes in my life following the last patches. On the side of CMU, we got Gwen, Viego, Nico, Xayah, and Rakan. We actually have the Xayah Rakan combo, so that unlocks some extra abilities since this is like the, I don't know if they're husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, but that you don't unlock some extra abilities. Rakan has a further shield distance, and they can actually join in recalls together. So it just leads to a couple of extra potential. The maximum potential of this bot lane is coming out. Nico can be used, I wouldn't say the Deception is her most powerful tool, although it's gotten a small brain player like me several times. But her ultimate is really where she shines. A huge circle, huge stun, and she shields herself from the damage. Viego, man with sword, looking for someone, and usually finds the wrong person and kills them. And Gwen, pretty annoying. She can block a lot of the CC. The Nautilus will probably have a little bit of a tough time. It is a area of effect CC block, so the Nautilus knockup he'll need to be careful in his use of the knockup in order to not get caught in the Gwen. So we're waiting on the spectator delay. We got 2 minutes.
Spectator delay.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm looking forward to this game. And you know, it looks like USM actually did a no ban.
Oh, for the last one?
Yeah,
wow, interesting.
Yeah, no ban by USM. So,
well, I'm curious,
yes.
actually. I don't know if this game they used, normally, for those unaware, on NECC and NACE games with picks bans, we normally use software outside of the game to do the picks bans, but it looks like they might have done the actual draft on the screen. But I'm not too sure. Normally, you'll see a couple of position swaps in the draft phase, and we did not see any of that. So I'm going to assume that they used an external site like they normally do. But it's an exciting team. I got to play with Kingsley Nautilus, Connor Poppy, and Tejas' Belveth, and it's a lot of fun. And of course, we saw Vincent, who's on Kaisa in the bot lane. His tag is what, QM49 in here.
Yes.
We got to see some flashes of brilliance last week on that Kaisa. It was really
see
exciting.
some really good flashes. In terms of team comp here, it's really hard to say. Both teams are really powerful. I think the Poppy jungle, or maybe
it'll be a Poppy top lane.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Poppy top lane. Poppy's really powerful early. I haven't seen her in the top lane as much as I see her in the jungle these days.
I agree.
But still a very powerful champion, does a surprising amount of damage. And she's got the power of a melee champion, and she does have a ranged passive where she throws her shield, or throws her buckler, gets a shield. It does some really good damage. So depending on how he builds, that could be a really useful tool for beating down this Gwen. And of course, the Poppy ult into combination with the Aziraal, they have a lot of knockups and ways to move the enemy team into an ideal position for an attack. They will need to be careful of the Gwen CC shield, though.
Yes, the CC shield will be fun to see how they deal with it. They do have, they have Poppy with CC, Belveth has a knockup, Nautilus, of course, has just an entire kit of CC, basically. Azir has the ult with the push that'll knock him up, so a lot of good chances for it. But if you look at the other team, Nico actually, her ultimate can escape CC, Zaya's ultimate can escape CC.
Yeah, they have a lot of CC
Diego goes
guard.
invisible in his E, so it's going to be interesting. It's kind of a war of ideals here going into the
And another
team
trait, the Poppy actually does have an anti-dash ability. So she can activate, I believe it's her W, and it grounds and does damage to people who attempt to dash toward Poppy. It is an AoE, although not as wide as Gwen's, but can be useful because Gwen has a dash, Viego has a dash, Rakan has a dash, so they should be able to do something here. And so here we are in the very start of the game. We're going to be starting here on red side. We got the directed cam running. And we'll just for the most part, let the directed cam run, and we'll flash the scoreboard for you every so often after big fights, after certain times when items come up. So real fast, I'm gonna check the chat while these guys all walk to the jungle. Oh, and yes, shout out the LOL team, man. Marshall's in the chat, shout out. More powder. Yeah, shout out next. And apparently he asks to marry her. They're borderline married. It is the marriage lore. So yes, marriage lore. They are not married. They are girlfriend and boyfriend. They're very close to getting married, though. Well, maybe I guess when Zaya says yes to Rakan, something like that. Marriage lore complete. And so here we are, Connor taking a look around. And it looks like they are running the 5-point, or at least the 4-point right now, while Belveth comes back. CMU also maintaining a relatively passive approach. It seems like they got ready in the bot side jungle, perhaps looking for an invade. I'm not sure what they've been scouting. I'm not sure really how USM has been preparing in their recent games. But everyone kind of falling back, getting ready for the first monster spawns. Should be coming in within the next couple seconds.
Oh, Vega's breaking it down.
And so it should be a relatively simple lane. Oh, and Bang already coming out with a couple shields, but of course that Nico damage delivers just about as much pain, if not more. Her little, I'm not exactly sure what key it's on, but it is a 3 charge ability. If it hits the champ, it will blow up 3 times. It's her Q.
I believe that's her Q.
And so Bang gonna have to deal with that with the range. Oh, and QM.
Man, Vincent going in.
Dropping a little bit of pain. And, oh, Nautilus throwing out the hook. Vincent going in, auto-attacking her up, forcing the dash out of the Rakan. So his knockup is now unavailable, although it comes back relatively quickly. You can see the Poppy passive right there, just throwing her buckler at him, hitting him right in the face pretty much. And so the top lane, Frozen going in for a couple of hits, activating the ground. Oh, and actually going for another one, forcing the dash out of Rakan again. And the top lane engagement is still going slightly. Oh, has to dash out. And Connor without any dash on Poppy. Without W, he gets movement speed, no dash though. Connor coming out on top, forcing the potion out of both, but definitely wins the engagement hard.
Connor, a fan favorite here on
yes,
USM's
a huge
chat.
crowd.
They love Connor.
A lot of
in
fans
chat.
for this man. Very popular. If I had to guess, I believe it's either going to be the bot or top lane where the first kill will come from. This current mid lane is a little, oh, well, I may have spoken too soon. The electrocute proc comes out, almost gets the 4th Q. Does she have ignite? She goes for the auto, it's not enough. Bang barely escaping with his life here. King throws out the hook, but the other one dashes away. Looks like they're going to try to steal his blue buff here. And the CMU jungler watching carefully. He gets the smite off, and Teus on the Belveth
wins the blue buff.
Oh, and the hook hits. And oh my goodness, Teus gets the first blood on Belveth. A nice hook there from King, dropping the big bomb of a hook. And that's first blood to USM. I think this may be the first time we've seen that.
Yes,
I'm not sure.
I think that is the first time we've seen first blood for USM.
Yeah.
Last week was a bit of a blur with our games.
Oh,
Kingsley
and close hook, almost
attempt
hitting the
there.
recon.
So close.
Oh, and Connor, and she's grounded. She tried to dash out. The CC shield coming out. And Connor really putting the work in on this Gwen. The buckler, her Q extremely strong. It does 8% max health and a pretty good amount of damage, I think 90, and blows 2 times. So you can get a lot of damage in addition to the stun, allowing for more auto attacks. And so just hanging around the top island, of course, always a fun thing.
Of course.
My buddy Alex is in here. Shout out Alex. Oh, but the gang coming in. Running to his buckler, picking up the shield. Will he get the kill in time? It's too late.
Targeting Connor, clearly. Clearly
Yes.
targeting Connor here.
And
they
the
know he's a threat.
snip of the scissors has, cut Connor off from life for the moment. 1 second, though, and he'll be back up like nothing ever really happened. Bang still fighting in the mid lane, and Diego actually hanging out in the top lane a little bit longer than I would expect him to. I'm not really sure why. Connor going to go ahead and TP to the top lane to pick up the wave, avoid losing more CS than he has to. And so we're just kind of waiting for some action here. The mid lane's still relatively quiet. King actually walking up a little bit. It looks like he might be trying to catch out this Rakan. Throws the hook, but it does not hit. Really close. Popping the E for the escape. Oh, activating he hit the auto attack of the root. Throwing the hook, he gets it. Teus is here. Does he have the knockup? I think the slow just came through. He will not make it. Rakan escapes back to the turret. Very, very low health though. That was almost there. A really nice hook from King. King's hooks have been on point. And with a team full of dashes, it's really hard to hit him. You got to read him extremely well in order to have a fight in general. And a lot of USM's power is going to come from these early fights where they don't have Gwen to protect them from CC abilities. King's making the most use he can out of it, playing super aggressive and forcing fights early, trying to build an early lead before his abilities become kind of powerless. USM picking up the Ocean Drake there, pretty much uncontested. Maybe even totally uncontested other than the Drake itself fighting them. Connor delivering the buckler onto Gwen, and you can just see it does a good bit of damage.
It does.
It's a nice little chunk, but of course Gwen, dropping out the CC shield. The dash comes out, dropping the ult. Gonna have to retreat though. Does she have her last ult? Oh, and the scissors comes out again.
That's a big kill
cuts
on
him
Connor.
down.
Connor getting targeted pretty early here. They're trying to shut down this Poppy, make sure there's not a lot of room for it to grow.
And in the middle of that, Gwen does true damage on the cut, and so it just cuts right through armor. Not much you can do about it. 1-2, but USM does have the Drake, so they're only about 200 gold down. And a lot of pressure in the bot lane currently.
Look at these items here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see how close we're getting to our mythics. Looks like a Noon Quiver is already up on Zaya. I can see Serrated Dirk for Kaisa
Serrated
probably
Dirk.
going. What do you think Kaisa's going here for lethality first item?
Lethality first item.
Possibly Eclipse?
Possibly Eclipse. She does have these two, her W, I believe, and her auto attack. Her
Kingsley
move speed.
lands the
and
hook.
King's hitting a huge hook there. But I do think Dirk is actually a better choice here than the Noon Quiver. Noon Quiver gives you a lot of damage against minions, which will allow her to push easier. But Dirk gives you some lethality and some damage. And so it can kind of cut through any armor you get as you naturally level up. and continue to assist you. And I also believe lethality is pretty good right now in comparison to Noon Quiver in general.
As long as you're not building shield bow.
Yes.
Yeah, just don't
so
build
as long
shield
as you're
bow
not
right
building shield bow, you should be fine. Most of the people in my games in silver lobbies build shield bow. So don't do that anymore. Please, help me out. I just want to get gold. But Connor up here fighting again. You notice the Gwen picked up I'm not sure, it's the Seeker's arm guard maybe?
Yeah, going into Zonia's.
Part of the, yeah, going into Zonia's. And that gives additional armor for each minion killed.
As well as AP, I believe.
Yeah, and a little bit of AP, which helps. A huge dog coming down right now. Out in the hallway. That thing looks mean. Yeah, no camera on it, but let it be known here, that dog looks mean as all get out. USM actually going for the Rift Herald here. I think Tehu's picked that up. And let's see, CMU taking the opportunity to crash the wave bot, or attempting to. Looks like the USM minions made it just in time to prevent them from crashing into the turret. Bang and Nico still going at it here in the mid.
They've really been fighting this game.
Yeah, it's been just a CC, poke fest the entire game. Bang hasn't died, Nico hasn't died. Oh, but the ult coming out, this may be the change. Oh, and I may have just, put some wrong things into the forward motion. Really big pick for the Nico. She's only slightly ahead in CS. Vincent, USM Vincent, still ahead of the Zaya. It looks like he was actually going for a shield there, gonna knock him back. Tehu's here also. And let's see what the plan is here. She's got the CC guard up. She's activated her ultimate. She's dashing out. Do they have a knock-up or anything? And attempts to throw a Q, but it's just too late. And the gank with no success other than getting the Gwen to fall back.
Even down on kills between Gwen and Poppy, you can see Connor's kept such good lane pressure with minions underneath the turret. Always has a wave pushing from what we've seen so far in spectator mode. So just goes to show you, even when you're down, even when it feels like you're getting targeted, you can still fight back. You can still fight back on the map.
Vincent
and speaking of fighting
here.
back.
Oh, but the whole CMU team is here. Vincent still slow on the Nautilus. And Vincent gonna get taken out. He was taking out the Krugs because they had CMU, the CMU jungler was in there, but just not quite there. Nico came up, forced the flash out of Tejas. Is that how you say it? Tejas?
I say Tejas.
Tejas?
Yeah.
Tejas. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Hopefully, maybe Nex can correct me.
Yeah, Nex can help us out. Nex is on the team.
So is it Tejas? Tejas? I'm not exactly sure. Popping the Rift Herald up top, but the teleport comes out. Looks like they're going to try to stop the Rift. Will it hit? And they do. Tejas picking up all the gold there, about 320 to be exact. And that's pretty good. That should help in the building of items. He has a Noon Quiver right now. He'll probably use that. He buys a pickaxe. And I'm not sure if he already had the crit item before, the cloak, but he definitely has a pickaxe now. Pickaxe also a really solid item, just a free, just AD. And next calling the Tejas. There you go. All right.
It looks like Kaisa going into, after some insight from outside analysts from Ole Miss, Marshall, our good man, the T-man. Looks like Kaisa's build will most likely be some variation of going into Kraken Slayer into Collector.
Okay.
And I think especially with Viego, Nico, and Rakan, that'll definitely be worth it. Wow, what a hook from Kingsley there.
Big hit from King, dropping the ult, and Tejas is there.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and he picks up, he's still alive. He actually manages to escape, but he goes back in, and I'm not sure if that was the right move or not. Gwen dropping a hail of needles onto his face as he walks in, and the rest of USM falling back. Bang gonna get away, and Connor just holding the line as they get ready. It looks like CMU is going to take this Drake 2-6, and CMU coming ahead with about a 2,000 gold lead, or maybe almost 2,000 gold lead. Definitely pulling slightly ahead, and this Gwen causing some issues here early for USM. The CMU 80 carry also picking up 2 kills in the fight, but Gwen 3-0 now with a small CS lead.
A little scary.
And a lot of damage there from Vincent onto the Zaya, but too much pressure with the Rakan coming back to go in. And for Bang, this is a tough matchup with the Nico, who is just 102 right now, has already gotten at least 20 more CS. It's a tough battle with such a dominant lane opponent who has so many stuns, so much high damage, and roots in her arsenal. A couple of sand spearmen, maybe just not quite getting the job done. But of course, Azir, a high class late game champ.
Yeah, and luckily Bang, we've seen the coach play for the team. I think he's starting to realize, we're 12 minutes into the game, that he'll probably end up being in more of a CC support, try and help do damage, maybe tank some damage where he can, just try and keep Vincent alive. That's just where we are right now in the game. It's unfortunate to be down this much right now, but we've seen much worse deficits and greater comebacks.
And USM actually farming up to the point where I think they're still in a better position than they were. But yes, this win with so much pressure, kind of negating so much of Poppy's kit with the CC barrier and just the sheer amount of damage that she can put out with the scissors and the snip snip. In addition to her ult, which as she keeps hitting enemies, it keeps getting more powerful. And Tejas down here in the bot lane, not a whole lot of action going on around the map. Looks like CMU may be gathering around the Rift Herald. I'm not sure if Connor knows. Gwen is coming up, Viego following shortly behind. He may be caught onto it now. And gonna go ahead and recall. And let's see if they decide to go for it. Looks like they're gonna opt to go ahead and hop out. Connor gonna cancel his recall. Viego popping the scryer, I believe that's what it's called, the vision plant. And
for the layman.
Spotting Connor there. So USM actually down only about 1,500 gold now. They've actually come back.
Not a bad deficit.
Picking up some good CS. Looks like they're farming efficiently. And now, and a nice hook. That was probably at the very end. I'm not sure if he actually wanted that after the fact. The charm comes out. He does flash out and escape. The ultimate comes out from Xayah. He sidesteps the feathers. Really smart of him. And Vincent going to come up and try to help him out. This King will get, he pops the hook. And now Kai'Sa comes in and gets it.
What a kill for Vincent.
Xayah picks up the Nautilus, and Connor falls to the Viego, and Nico picks up Tejas there. But Vincent picking up the Xayah in the bot lane, and so two fights on opposite ends of the map. And that was really close, really unfortunate in the top lane. We didn't get to really see what happened up there.
Yeah, so much going on the map.
Really good play there by Kingsley, dropping a couple of really bomb hooks there. Bang having to drop the shield wall, his ultimate there, to escape from Viego and Nico.
Second Rift Herald also taken into Chaos.
Yes. And
it's going to be popped mid.
And he's in a position, he's got the Rift Herald. He's going to go ahead and do a really short-range charge. Going to go ahead and take out the first turret. And really surprising, a 15-minute first turret. It took a while for this turret to fall. Both teams really evenly matched in terms of overall lane pressure.
Yeah.
Not so much in objective pressure. And King dropping a hook. I'm not sure if that was caught on, but it seems like some hype from the players.
We got that spectator delay.
Yeah.
The spectator delay moment.
So in about 3 minutes, we'll be seeing what they were so hype about. And a big Nico coming out. And you can see how much damage.
A lot of damage there.
The root with the 3Q, it is usually a half health incident there. Vincent opting to just take some solo EXP here. Doing what he can. I would honestly say that Vincent is the win con for USM right now. On 3 kills right now, equal with the Xayah and way ahead in CS. Around 40 ahead.
Yeah, that's going to be big later in the game.
And really already has the Kraken Slayer and another Dirk, while the Xayah only has Kraken Slayer and B Greaves.
Seems we got a lot of mythics online. Viego went ahead and went Blade of the Ruin King first item. It's been pretty good this patch. A lot of champions have been running it just because ever since we had the durability patch come out, it's just
big
so
fight
hard
here
to
in the
kill
river.
people.
And a couple of really nice knockups there. The Nico ultimate and it's CC. No one can get out. Vincent having to run for his life. He picks up one. He's flashing for his life. Viego is still following in so many stuns, so many dashes. Can he escape? He cannot. He's shut down by Viego. And CMU just picked up a lot of kills there. Just about an ace. Viego, I thought Gwen was going to go for it, but a nice W there by Connor escaping.
What did you notice in that team fight? What do you think led to that? It
So
looked like a
much
lot of
CC.
Nico. Looked like a lot of Nico in that fight.
I'm not
lie.
sure if King hit that hook when he threw it. but I believe Rakan took the initiative right there. I think he got a 2-man knockup into Charm, allowing NECC to charge her ultimate, dropping a bomb on another 2 members of USM, just completely melting them. And by the time all was said and done, Vincent was the only man left. Gwen running for her life right now. She's used her CC shield.
Oh,
the rest of CMU
there.
here, though. And now a lot of the members of CMU are really powered up. The Gwen is 4-0, a 3-0-6 NECC, and a 4-1 Zaya. You've got to be really scared. You've got to choose your fights very carefully.
Vincent, we've seen able to fight back, and I think going into the rest of this match, the rest of the team just wants to focus on their CC.
A nice hook there. Oh, and a
look at
nice
that.
ultimate from Bang. He actually gets King out of the NECC ult. Perhaps not so much of an offensive ult, but rather save our skins ult.
We've seen some of those come out from Bang today. Bang's really been on the defensive mindset, trying to get them out. Just trying to stop the kills going on to Colorado Mesa as much as they can. But it's an interesting game state, to say the least. You know, USM, luckily, they got the first Rift Herald. They got a Drake as well, so they're not super far behind objectives. But we'll see what happens. Looks like Vincent is trying
Vincent
to
actually going in, and this is 280 carries, but the root picks him up. Oh my goodness,
What
and
a
that
clip.
crazy amount of damage. Vincent dropping a bang on the camera, completely erasing Zaya from existence right there.
Vince went in on that one.
And well, if that was 2 pretty even 80 carries. In fact, I would even say that Zaya was ahead with the 4 assists, giving some extra gold. But Kaisa, really, really strong right now. One of the stronger 80 carries, I'd say, in this patch. And that's a good representation of it. Really dropped a bomb.
Yeah, that was a great fight from Vincent
And
there.
got a nice little 150 shutdown. Oh, but Bang getting picked up.
Look at the
Almost
damage
gets
that
away.
NECC
Oh, and he's
does.
got a nice shield there. He's just trying to get in, but just doesn't do any damage.
Really big shield there on the NECC.
And NECC did pop her R. She is level 13 now. Oh, and Viego seems he knows. He's just going in. King doesn't make the hook. Does he have his ultimate? I'm not sure if he does or not.
No, there comes the ultimate. The ultimate
Oh, the
just
ultimate
hit.
does come out now. Maybe a little late there.
Oh, there we
Bang.
go.
Oh, no, Vince picks up that one. Bang trying to survive. Does he have any damage? And they are just actually just crushing Bang. Not even hardly paying a single bit of attention to Vincent as he runs back down to bot lane. And CMU running through the mid turret. And it looks like they're going to be going for this turret. They maybe even put a couple of hits here on the inhibitor turret. Might be the first cracks into USM's base. And they're going to need a couple of more good picks. They've got good ideas. Oh, and Vincent actually maybe trying to take that. Steps out of the
dodged
Rakan. And just
gets
barely
hit
gets
on the
hit by
tail
the tail end of that hook. Connor coming in trying to save the, and just CC'd forever. Connor tried to save Vince from the Gwen, but just comes back in.
This comp is pretty hard, especially for Kingsley since she's playing on Nautilus. The hooks pull you in. We used to run Nautilus Jhin bot lane quite a bit in our ranked days. So I know from playing Nautilus, once you land that hook, you basically forfeit your life. So you go in there knowing that you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
And Tejas on Bel'Veth, one of their only big CC initiators aside from the Zero ults. So of course we're going to see some more deaths on them. They're having to initiate these fights.
Yes.
They're having to go in, and it's just really unfortunate. They don't have as much. They don't have as much escapability as you would think. Even though Bel'Veth does have a good dash, Nautilus can hook away in the fight. But like we said earlier, if you hook in, that's basically your movement for the fight. So it's going to be tough for Kingsley to keep surviving these. But I think that the hooks have been in the right place. I think they've had the right ideas, especially with the knockup on the ultimates. But we might see some action here in the mid lane.
Yeah, and the unfortunate reality of being the initiator, like you said, you go in expecting to die. Usually your job is a hook bot, and once you hit it, you've kind of accomplished your goal. As Nautilus, you land the hook, you land an auto attack, you root someone, you may pop your ult, and hopefully you pop your W and you may survive one extra auto attack. But King getting picked up there by NECC. And it looks like CMU is just running it down right now. Even the team fight, I don't think USM can win a team fight here. They just have too much CC, too many dashes. A team so mobile you can't even hit them. And you can see even Tejas not doing that much damage to the Gwyn. He's 2 levels over him.
It's a tough spot to be in.
And Viego picking up another Drake there on Soul Point now. Getting ready.
Very close objective-wise.
Around a little over 7,000 gold lead right now for CMU. And really, the best USM can hope for is that Vince can get a pick somewhere. He's their strongest member by a long, very, very long margin. And they have to get him something, or at least get him enough to where the rest of the team can farm.
Two really big shutdowns available, Gwyn and Nico. Whoever gets those is going to be really powerful. Yes. I think USM's trying to funnel it onto Vincent just because it's really looking like Vincent's the win con, like you were saying. I'm really interested to see if they're able to get these shutdowns here sometime soon.
Oh, and Poppy getting picked up. Actually gets the airborne through the CC. I'm not sure how that works. Oh, and a huge Nico. Oh,
huge Nico.
Oh, an absolute disaster here in the mid lane. Connor running for his life. He may escape, but I'm not sure. Vince getting picked up. Running for his life right now in the jungle. I just don't think he makes it. Popping the W, and Gwyn gonna back off. Connor escapes with his life, but CMU is gonna get the Baron off of that. And the gold lead increases further. It's about 8,000 now, a little over 8,000.
Yeah, very tough spot. Soul Point coming here.
We did see a turret get picked up maybe by the minions. I'm not quite sure. I think 350 gold was split across.
Oh, Bang trying to get the shutdown here.
Oh, Bang actually does pick up the shutdown on the Nico. And so Nico without Baron buff there, and Bang picking up a 700 gold bounty. But Nico's still with a 400 gold bounty even after death. Just showing how crazily strong that the Nico is.
It is good for USM though, considering Nico won't have Baron buff.
True.
Nico is pretty good at, I mean, right now a 918 Nico could push all the way to inhibitor at this point.
Yeah.
Especially with Baron buff. So having that out of the game is just really good. You can see still 14 seconds left. Even it's been this long, still 14 seconds left. Like you said, I don't know how USM can fare in a team fight right now, but while they're scattered like this, they might have a chance.
And King was being chased, it looks like, by someone. Tejas trying, but no one is doing any damage on the side of USM except for Vince. He picks up the Rakan, but he's left the mid turret. It's just Bang trying to hold on for his dear life. I'm not even sure if he has ult anymore. He just used it in an attempt to kill the Nico.
Oh, doing some good damage on Viego though.
And the burn coming through, but the Baron buff so strong. Oh, and Vince picks up the Viego.
Nice pick.
Oh, and I think, did he hit the Xayah? I'm not sure. Oh, he does. He does pick up the Xayah. He's going for it. Vince, sidestepping ultimates. He's out of moves. He's got to wait for just a moment. The Nico is chasing after him. So many roots, so many stuns. How does he live? Oh, and the root's coming out. Vince sidesteps it, but does he have the damage? He does. Kaisa picking up the bounty. Oh, and
what a stopwatch.
Xayah's coming out. Bang with a bunch of shields. Oh, but Xayah flashes on the Bang.
Another shutdown for Bang.
Bang picking up a 150, and Vince picking up 400 off the shutdown. Vince powering up 950. He's 2 items. He may have 3 off of this back.
I think the counterattack is starting. I think USM's pushback is starting.
They've definitely brought a lot of kills back to the board. The lead's still pretty wide despite the kills. It's just a matter of objectives, a matter of dragons. But Vince really trying his hardest to pull them back. And it's got to have to be a team coordinated extreme effort to ensure that Vince does not die under any circumstances. At this point, you guys are all hook bots. Yeah. You just have to kind of walk in.
You guys are bodies and CC machines at this point
and
for Vincent.
Stand basically on top of Vincent so they can't even target him.
Although I will say Bang is getting, I don't know if you saw Bang's damage in that fight against Viego, but
he did.
Bang is starting to scale, starting to get pretty strong there on Azir. And that's going to be really helpful. The range that Azir has with the Spearman, I think that's going to be big in the fights, especially against Viego and Nico.
As long as Bang can stay out of danger and let those Spearmen do their work, he can provide a huge amount of damage so that Vince can capitalize. The big thing they need right now, they've got to take out this Gwyn. Gwyn is 6 levels over King right now. Just farming. Oh, and it looks like a root coming out from Nico. Dodge. Oh, and Vince walked up a little forward. The rest of the team was not ready, and they caught him in a root. Oh, and Bang picking up into the tower. They can't escape the shield wall. It's a perfect ult from Bang. forcing Nico out. Bang picks up one. He's trying to pick up another, but there's no more damage. And it was such a good ultimate, but 2 Zhonya's came out, and he had them locked into the turret. They could not escape. They were so close to
At this level of play,
a game-altering play. But CMU were ready, and now they're going to pick up the Cloud Soul off this. They're going to get a huge amount of movement bonuses off of this Drake. And while it doesn't help them kill any faster, it helps them move to the kills infinitely faster and increases their escape.
And cooldown reduction on their ultimate as well.
Yes, 9%, I believe. And you can see right there in action, you can actually see the, we haven't seen it all game, we just saw it there though, the Xayah Rakan being
special
able to,
interaction?
Yeah, the special recall that they can do, where they can join in on it. I didn't know how that worked for the longest time. I could never figure it out. And I kept trying to do it, and I kept just sitting there clicking them while they were recalling. And 13-28 right now. And the gold lead, even every time USM starts to pick it up, they just put them back down.
Yep.
And that fight, I believe that fight that Bang initiated was probably the closest chance they had to escaping the current course of the
clutches,
game. Yeah, these clutches of defeat. That being said, they're not out yet. Bang picked up a couple of kills off that anyway.
Bang really becoming a problem.
Really?
That was such a close fight.
He's only 3-4, but he has 205 CS. And Azir getting into the late game form. More items can only mean more power.
You see how important at this level of play, just how big active items Zhonya's Hourglass become.
True.
I mean, you don't see it low elo with us, really. You don't see the active items coming out, but
and hiding in a bush here.
Esports, man, you got to have the active items ready to go.
And Diego going, is Bang fast enough? I'm not sure if he's got a dash. Tejas having to pick it up. Rakan escapes or goes for the knockup, but they all escape. Forces the flash out of Bang. They're pinging for Baron, spawning in 25 seconds. And I think if they get this Baron, if USM does not fight, I believe this is the end.
It could be a really tough push to come back from. I think that USM doesn't want to count themselves out yet. I don't want to count them out either. I think that they've still got a chance, especially in this objective. We'll just have to see where it goes, really. That's the scary part, is just waiting.
And King picking up, but they're all surrounding the Baron. USM hanging out in the bottom side river. They're getting started. Their damage is massive. They've got 7-1 win, a 10-2 Nico. USM's going to need and a huge root coming out.
Oh, there's
Zhonya's already came out, but Bang is on negative health. Has to force the shield out. Does escape with his life. Tejas going in. He steals it!
My God!
Oh my God!
Tejas
He steals
stole
the Baron! Was it enough damage? And they're fighting for their life, but it doesn't look like USM has enough damage even with the Baron buff. They're all getting taken out. Azir lives. Bang lives with the Baron buff, and the TP comes out from Gwyn. Will one Baron be enough for USM to win? Forces the ultimate out to try to...
Forces Zhonya's too.
Yes, try to get his life, but I think this is going to be the end. And Tejas with an incredible steal, but it just wasn't enough. The situation of the game, CMU was ready, and they just killed every member, taking away the buff with force. And this is going to be the game. And it's just so unfortunate the way it had to end that way. It's just, it's a heartbreak. It's a heartbreaking